Hi friend! Subscribe to the channel, leave a like and watch the video from start to finish. Peppa Pig is asking you to do it.
George never played hide-and-seek again, not after what happened in the basket. But even though the wound on his leg slowly healed, the fear inside him didn't. Because at night, when the house went silent, he kept hearing it, a hiss. At first, he thought it was just dreams. In those dreams, the snake would slither across the floor and call his name. He would try to run, but the floor would melt beneath his feet like jelly. He always woke up screaming. Peppa started hearing him cry at night. She tried to comfort him, but he refused to talk about the dreams. Until one night, when he whispered, the snake wasn't alone. Peppa told their parents. They said it was just trauma. The doctor agreed. George needed rest, quiet, and time. But Peppa had a strange feeling about that room. She didn't like how cold it felt. She didn't like how shadows seemed longer there. So she asked if George could sleep in a room. Their parents said yes. The first night, everything seemed normal, until Peppa woke up to a strange sound, a hiss. She turned slowly and saw George standing by the window. His eyes were wide open, but he wasn't awake. He was sleepwalking. Peppa gently walked up to him and touched his shoulder. He turned slowly and said, "It's calling me." From the basket. There was no basket in her room, but he pointed toward the hallway. The next morning, George didn't remember anything. Peppa told their parents again, but they just smiled and said, "It's just a bad dream." Peppa decided to find out the truth herself. She went into George's old room. The toy basket was still there, empty, but the air smelled strange, like metal and dirt. She leaned closer, and then she saw it, a tiny greenish scale stuck on the edge of the basket. Peppa picked it up carefully. It shimmered in her hand. She placed it inside a small glass jar and hid it under her bed. That night, she showed it to George. He froze. "It's not the same snake," he whispered. "It's bigger now." Peppa looked at him. "Bigger? It talks to me," he said. "In dreams. It wants me to come back." His voice was shaking. His skin felt cold. Peppa hugged him tight. She didn't know what else to do. The next morning, the jar was broken. It hadn't fallen. It looked like something had shattered it from the inside. Muddy footprints led from under her bed to the door. No one in the house had muddy shoes. It hadn't rained for days. That night, George disappeared. They found him in the garden. It was raining. He was barefoot. Next to him was a trail of his toys, leading from the front door to where he stood. He was whispering, "I'll hide better this time. It won't find me. I promise." Peppa pulled him back inside, crying. Her parents were scared now, too. The next day, they brought in a specialist, someone who studied dreams and trauma in children. But this woman was strange. She didn't ask questions. She didn't take notes. She just walked into George's old room, touched the basket, and froze. Then she turned to Peppa and said, "You shouldn't have touched the scale." That night, Peppa had her first nightmare. In the dream, she was inside the basket. Only now, it was much bigger. It was a hole, deep and dark, and it was alive. She felt something crawling on her legs. Then she saw them, eyes. Hundreds of glowing yellow eyes staring at her from the dark. Then a hand reached for her. It was George, but his eyes were glowing too. He opened his mouth and a hiss came out. Peppa screamed. She woke up in her bed, sweaty, shaking, and on her desk. The glass jar was back, but it was cracked, and from inside it, she could hear something moving, hissing, to be continued.
Subscribe to the channel and watch the next video.